Let me ask you then about how maybe his re-election chances are turned around. You've talked about his use of Twitter. And you've talked about the fact that you say he's got great political instinct, that this is impetuous behaviour on Twitter, that it is premeditated. Do you think it was a premeditated tweet when he quote tweeted that the people down in LA in Florida talking about white power?
Well, 100%. That was 100% intentional. And what he likes to do is he likes to split things. It's a classic move of somebody that has a borderline personality. You know, you say there are very fine people on both sides, and then you get your ardent supporters to read the transcript and side with you, and you've got enough there for everybody. So he knows that said white power. He's trying to gin up his base, and then he'll then say, oh, geez, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it said it. And so he deletes it. Now there's enough fodder in there for everybody. But no, that was 100% intentional. He knows his one move to re-win the presidency is to get the white demographic voter to participate at a higher rate than they did in 2016.
But not just the white voter, and we're talking about the white racist voter here, aren't we? I mean, people who go around saying white power?
Well, no, but yeah, white power, the racist voter for sure. He'd like 100% of those. But the white voter, he got 62% of the white vote last time. He would like to get 62% again, but he'd like to have 7% more voter participation, meaning get out more white voters, get that same number, and he wins the presidency.
So the White House is lying when the White House say he didn't know, he didn't see it, he didn't hear it, it was an accident.
Of course. I mean, of course they're lying. And again, that's the befuddlement. You're sitting there saying, okay, why do they got to lie about stuff like this? They're working for Trump. That's why they got to lie about stuff like that.
And did you, when you worked for him, did you?
They're always under siege, and they got a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, no, everyone's got a, you know, in those kind of jobs, pressure is constant, and the siege mentality comes in early. But when you worked for him, were you prepared to lie for him? Did you know that you might have to lie for him?
Yeah. Well, I never let you go. I mean, I was only there for 11 days, but when I was his media surrogate during the transition. I never lied for him. If he asked me to say something I knew was factually inaccurate, I used to look at him and say, that's not something coming out of my mouth. You know, like the crowd sizes, I would have never said something like that. I mean, you could just look at the picture and see that the crowds were very different. I'm not going to, you know, you have to, I think it's a learning lesson for everybody, and I think it's a global lesson. When you have a madman for a leader, stick to your principles. Many people didn't do that throughout history. And then those madmen leaders were able to do very destructive things. And so you got to have some level of personal integrity. But you could look at the tapes. You can look at my interviews when I worked for him. If something was said, I said, geez, I can't speak for that. Let him speak for that himself.
Do you think he's a racist?
And so when he's saying, do I think he's a racist? Yeah, no, I absolutely think he is a racist. He's obviously a racist, but he's actually worse than a racist. He's another type of IST. He's such a full-blown narcissist that he objectifies people. People are just another item in his field of vision. So, you know, you could say that he's not a racist in the following respect. You can't be racist against a black or a white car. You know, if they're parked in your driveway, you don't kick the black car, right? So he doesn't, you know, he's expediently racist. When it suits him, he's racist. If it suits him to pardon an African-American grandmother and release her from prison, and he's going to score political points, he'll do that as well. But yeah, no, and let me put it to you this way. If the racists think you're a racist, you're a racist. Okay. And the racists think he's a racist, and they love him for it, which is why they're screaming white power as they drive by protesters.
It's sort of amazing, therefore, I guess, for you that so many people seemingly would still want to vote for Donald Trump. You've said previously that you're not going to vote for Donald Trump. And I'm interested in your sort of journey from having worked for the guy, wanted to work for the guy, been in this incredible job, albeit for a short period of time, with huge power and great responsibility. Was there a particular moment when you thought that the scales fell from your eyes? Because there will have to be a lot of Americans for who undergo the same process that you've gone through, Anthony, in order to not vote for him this time around.
Yeah, so I think that's a brilliant question, and so I voted for him and worked for him. I was a traditional lifelong Republican. When he got the nomination, he asked me to work for him. I did the classic human mistake. I got intoxicated by the ego basis of working for the President of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I have to own that, and I have to own that mistake for the rest of my life. But when I got fired, I made the decision to try to stay loyal to him because I thought it was the right thing to do as a human being. But when he started doing very abnormal things, putting children in cages, separating them from their families, denouncing our intelligence agencies, decrying the press as the enemy of the people, the red line moment for me is when he went after the squad. Those four congresswomen, he told them to go back to the country they originally came from. Those four congresswomen, 3 were born in the United States. 1 was naturalized as a citizen, and all 4 were democratically elected by our Congress. That's a racist nativist trope that has been said in our country for hundreds of years. Yeah. And they said it to my Italian-American grandmother when she arrived in 1923. And as I told Mayor Giuliani, I am not going to disavow my personal integrity or my personal history, my life story, my family story, by allowing Donald Trump to move the goalposts on me to defend something that's indefensible.
And I guess the unanswerable question for you, and one that you, I presume, may have wrestled with, is had you not been fired, would that ego and that sort of incredible power that comes with being alongside the President of the United States overwhelmed your own personal integrity, and you just stayed on in the job despite this stuff?
So I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to answer it very honestly. I would like to think that I'm a better person than that, but this is a cautionary tale for every listener out there. When you're put in that situation, those types of things are very tempting. There's an aphrodisiac to power. But I do think after the Charlottesville thing, which happened a week after I was there, I would have been fired. I don't think I would have lasted a long time in the job because I didn't have the personality skill set to do what Kayleigh McEnany is doing or what Sarah Huckabee was doing. I was not going to sit up there and tell those fibs all day. So I'm sure I would have been fired, not by my own choice, not by my own volition, but through my lack of congruence with the president in terms of the way he thinks and handles things.
And just very finally, I take it from everything you've said, you've called him a racist, that the country is turning against him because of the coronavirus response, that you're going to be voting Biden.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. No, I'm working with the Republicans for Joe Biden. I'm raising money for the Lincoln Project. We have a PAC that we're working on called the Right Side PAC, which is quote unquote people on the right that try to be on the right side of history. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we need to maintain a coalition. There's a beautiful mosaic of colorful people in our society that if we can team up, we can defeat him, and then we can begin the process of healing the society, but also reforming the Republican Party. The Republican Party under Trump will ultimately become a minority party for many generations. If we don't defeat Trump, we don't have a chance of healing and re-engineering that party. You look at I hope to be a part of.
People like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham who have sold themselves to Donald Trump and hitched onto his wagon. Just very finally, and I mean this properly, very finally, we've talked about the ists. You've used the word racist, narcissist. I wonder if there's one ist that you think he is, which is a fascist.
He's a wannabe fascist. He can't really be a fascist, but he's a wannabe fascist. If he had the ability to be a fascist, he would be a fascist. He's a wannabe fascist. There's too many checks and balances in our system that prevent him from being one.